do you have any questions to ask us?
I mean, what do y'all feel about colorism? Like, you know, we talked about me. Like, I mean, we all kind of like chimed in, but how do y'all really feel about it? You know, how do you think we can? It would always take steps and get everybody together. But how do you think we could try our best to eliminate it out of our culture?
Me personally, I feel we need to educate each other and educate our community, but also educate other communities. Because there's some things they may know or may not know. But like, hey, we don't like this. And you may know or you may not know or you may not understand it. Well then, fine. I have no problem explaining to you why I feel this is not accepted. Because again, they can do something and may not know it. It's not like how people, when they take certain pictures and they do certain things, I'm like, dude, that's a little bit disrespecting me and my culture. Why is that? Because again, you may or may not know the culture and what I believe in, so I'd rather explain it to you. And I won't get offended by that.
For me, as a people, I think that we need to unify and be set on one accord, or at least like in the same chapter of a book. And there's a lot of Black people or people of color who believe things to be this way, and then there's a lot of them who believe things to be this way. It all comes from how you were brought up, the things that you were put in front of, like the things that you have to see. Like that's also like an education for us. I can educate you on this because I came from this side of town. And vice versa. So sharing stories, educating people on how you're feeling when they say certain things. I don't think we'll ever think all the same just because we're not fit into the same class, meaning money, education, things that we can have as a resource. So that also comes into play. You have some Black people and people of color who have the means to not have to technically experience that in front of their face, because they own a company and nobody's going to come and say X, Y, and Z to them in their face. And then you have people like me, middle class people, poor people, however you want to classify me, that has to go work for somebody. And they can tell me whatever the hell they want to because I need them. You know? So it comes into that. We all have to find an even ground to support each other. And if we see somebody being uncomfortable, even if it's not us, step in, lend an ear, listen to what they have to say. Reprimand somebody who you know is clearly in the wrong. Even if that's your friend, because one day they're going to use those same weapons that they're using somebody else on you. So just know that Black, brown, light skin, doesn't matter. We're all one people, and we should support each other as much as we can. Colorism is not. I don't think it's ever going to end.
No, it's never.
Racism is never going to end.
Because there's some people that don't believe in it, and some people just don't care. Like, whatever, okay, you don't think that's your problem, your situation, I don't have to deal with that. But we're living in this one world. It's everybody's problem.
Minimize it, you know? If you can't teach somebody and spread that, that's the goal. You know, try to spread the word. That's what everybody's been doing, even with racism. And I'm going to say this, and I'm not even trying to be funny. Colorism is not, I'm going to say, for example. So, let's say there is a darker skinned person and a lighter skinned person going for the same job. Let's say the darker skinned person didn't get the job, and now they're saying, oh, she only got the job because she's light skinned. You know, she only got the job because she's high yellow. No, she got the job because she stayed up all night studying for the exam she had to pass for while you out there drinking.
Plus, we don't even know how she got the job.
But
more people qualified.
People do that, you know what I'm saying? Instead of accepting their fault or accepting their responsibility or holding themselves accountable or why they could not have gotten the job, they automatically put race and colorism in it. And that's the thing that a lot of us probably have to work on too. You can't say, oh, because I'm Black, I didn't get the job. No, maybe you just didn't qualify for the job. Maybe because she has a bachelor's degree and she actually worked in her field for a little bit, and you might have just been working in the field and know the work that they chose her over you because she might have a more quality of what they're looking for. You know, some people fail to realize that, and some people don't want to accept that. You know, they want to think that, no, I'm good at what I do. You know what I'm saying? I've been here forever. Now, one, you got overlooked for a reason, maybe. But it wasn't because of your skin tone. It was just because of the quality.
Not always.
And some people don't know that. And you don't know why that person got it. But you automatically think it's because you are dark skinned, you didn't get the job. And that goes back to being insecure.
And maybe the job wasn't meant for you to have. It's probably meant for you to have something better.
Possibly.
Exactly.
I mean, it's so many different reasons. We can't just pinpoint.
But I'm just saying, I heard a joke from a comedian that said, man, they don't like me because I'm black. And he like, nah, dude, you put 2 + 2 = 7.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's stuff like that. It's also your quality that come back. It's unfortunate how they say, black folks have to work 2 times harder to get 1 step ahead, or hell, sometimes get right at the same level.
Yeah.
But think about that too. Don't automatically think that it's about what Cheryl said, you. It's about your color. Sometimes it's just about your qualities and your character. You know, are you really living up to what you should be?
Yeah. Stop victimizing every situation. And don't weaponize racism, colorism, because it's a real thing that people actually experience. And like Desiree said, like sometimes you're just not qualified. Sometimes you just gotta take that L, keep your head up, and go and do better. It's all about learning and bettering yourself in every situation that you can. So that job you didn't get, you know, it, like Star said, it might be something better for you. And you're sitting up here harping over somebody who probably actually worked harder than you. Like just be real with yourself. Sometimes it ain't got nothing to do with you being black, dark skin, light skin, whatever. It's just, it's not for you, though.
I mean, it does suck when sometimes you apply for the job and you feel that you worked hard to apply for it and you didn't get it. Yeah, it's gonna hurt. That's normal, but try not to think the negative, even though it's kind of hard to do it. Not think that way.
Some instances, your feelings are warranted, but not every.
Yes.
So be real with yourself.
Yeah.
If you were to date interracially, do you believe that it's your job to educate them on things such as colorism and racism?
Before you answer, please forget that noise. That's the helicopter around. If you guys hear that.
I think if I was to date interracially, it's not my job.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say it's not. It's okay. I really, you know what? I don't know how to answer that. I'm gonna be honest with that.
Okay.
Because I don't date outside my race, so it's kind of hard for me to think about that. Or I haven't dated outside my race. Let's put it like that.
Clarify.
But I think that it is, I'm gonna take that back. It is my responsibility to have a conversation about it.
Yes.
But it's not my responsibility to make them understand.
Right.
Kind of thing. Because they're gonna take it however they want to take it. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you tell them that, you know, this is what this is, and for some people it's going to be a lot, especially if they do not have to deal with it at all, or if they never have to deal with it in their own, you know, race or whatever. Now, I'm gonna say this: some people do understand because you have darker skinned Asian. You know, they experience it probably way more than we do because of their culture. You know what I'm saying? You don't know, but you have darker skinned Hispanic people. You know, they call them black and brown. So some of them might already understand, but if I tell you what this is, if I tell you how it feels, and you choose to do your own thing, then I'm going to leave you alone. But it's not my job to make you understand. It's going to be my job to bring it up, that we can have an open-minded and honest conversation about it. But I feel like that will be my responsibility, because as a person of color, I just want to understand where you come from, what you might, you know, feel about it, how you think, because I don't want to date somebody outside of my race and they disrespecting my family.
Oh yes,
that's the issue.
You know what I'm saying? But some people do that.
Yeah.
You know, some people are like, I don't want, you know, so and so around because, you know, they do this and that, but they only want the family who are brown skinned. You know what I'm saying? Like some people do that, and some people of color accept that because they want to be with this person so bad.
Mm-hmm.
I would never accept it. I would be like, you got me twisted, messed up on more levels than God created. But I'm just saying, like, I feel like it's just my job to bring it up and have a conversation and then go from there. If they choose to not really care about it, if they choose to try to tell me how to feel about it, then I'm cool.
Okay. I can respect that.
Where's the question I was gonna ask? Oh yeah, you did say you have not experienced racism in workplace or anything like that.
I think that I have experienced, I'm not gonna say colorism, maybe racism more than colorism in the workplace, because it's hard when you comment on these black person who they comparing you to. Yeah. Not another black person. You know what I'm saying? So that's considered racism when it's not another black person. But I want to use myself as an example in the workplace. So I am a manager at the restaurant that I work at. And I was looked over 7 times before I got promoted to be a manager. Now, it's a lot of things that go into that for me. One, I did assume it was because I was black. You know, but in the restaurant, almost everybody was black, kind of, you know what I'm saying? But the workers, not the managers. The managers were white, Hispanic, you know, Hispanic, white, I don't know. They Hispanic, but they look white, them guys.
Pass.
Yeah, so, and then in the other restaurants, they were like white, Asian, Hispanic, you know, so everybody that was above me were people who were not people of color. So whenever I got looked over, I felt like I was being looked over because I was a black chick. You know what I'm saying? And that I didn't qualify because I was black. I thought I had the skills. I thought I was good. I was ready. You know, and then but when it came down to me, and then I started seeing like managers in other restaurants being a black woman being promoted, a black guy being promoted, the trainers were black, you know. I was like, dang, they have black people. Because I didn't know that because they were coming from other states, you know. But in California, because there's only 4 of the restaurants in California, I only saw lighter, like white, other races, I'm going to put it like that. I only saw other races being managers. So I always thought like, dang, is it because I'm black? Like they don't think, you know, I'm worth being promoted, you know? Then I started seeing managers in other locations being GM, being kitchen managers, restaurant managers, leads, everything. But it took some time for me to realize that I was not ready, you know? And that's why I was saying, just because somebody lighter than you or darker than you got promoted, it's because maybe they saw that too. So but then when management switched over and the new like head people came in, they gave me an opportunity. But it also made me reflect on the fact that I wasn't ready at the time. I wasn't mature enough in the business to be promoted. So that's why I can't say it could have been a lot of that going on, but once I realized about myself that it could have just been me, that sometimes you got to take the racism and colorism out of it. Everybody's not really there to be malicious towards you. They're not there to be disrespectful towards you. And sometimes like if you got to say, oh, I don't know if they're being racist, they probably not. Because you know when they're being racist. Oh, yeah. You know, I've experienced customers being racist, you know what I'm saying? Then they trying to check themselves later because now they realize like I'm being racist, you know, and stuff like that. But you know whether you got car insurance or you don't got car insurance. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I can say I could have experienced it, but I was too focused on, but I don't know, you know, because if I gotta say I don't know, I probably wasn't. It was just probably my quality. But I thought I was experiencing it because I was a black person, felt like I was getting looked over by other people. And now I'm a really good manager. You know, my team loves me. And in my restaurant, I'm the only black manager pretty much, but it's more like Hispanic, white, Polish, like it's so many different people. Nobody's just white. You know, you have European, you got Hispanic, you got Asian, everybody in the restaurant. You're just part of the makeup of that restaurant. You know, so
I'm glad you mentioned it because, like how we had a discussion earlier, and then yet you gave your example. Like at first, I was thinking that, and I had to realize I was not ready, and now I took a step back, and now I got the opportunity, and I'm ready for it. And look where you are now. So that's a good way, a good example.
And that's all about growth. And I think like when you're younger and people are hyping it up, pumping it up, and you're not really ready for what God, okay, whatever you believe in, God, universe, stars, whatever. You're not ready for what they have to offer for you. It feels like an attack because you think you're ready. You know, you think that, no, this is mine. They only gave it to me because, you know, I'm a white I'm a black person or Asian person. Because trust me, even though we experience racism, colorism, all that stuff too, like I was saying, other people experience it too within their own people. Like you got the prestigious white people, then you got the hillbillies. You know, they put the hillbillies with us, if you want to say that, you know, but people experience it, so it's just like Cheryl was saying, don't be victims. Don't play the victim. Don't play the race card every time you don't get your way.
Right.
And sometimes, and because not so many people of color own businesses, high-end businesses, I'm gonna say that. We own our own little mom and pop shop majority of the time. We own our own little home-based business, but I'm talking about going to a chain of McDonald's, you know? When you work for people like that, majority of the time, they are of another race, you know? And people of the other race flock to that. So you might have more of them applying for the job, more of them getting the job. So it feels like racism and an attack when you work in an environment when it's majority of them. Because they don't understand you. But sometimes, like you're saying, they just don't know. Like what Star was saying. Sometimes they don't know. So, yeah.
Okay.